we can settle this like you got some class, so we can get into some gangster shit.
For justice and to go after bad people. That is why he made me and put me on this earth. And so nobody wants his justice more than I do, but it's not my justice to have. It's the victim's justice. And so if any of those folks on that flight log committed a crime, it requires a victim per the Constitution, because that person has a right to face their accuser, which is super important. If that victim chooses not to have justice because they've moved on, right? Maybe years and years of counseling. It might have taken them 20 years to get over that. And then we're asking them to go into court and rip that open for us so we can have justice. It's not ours to have.
And there's precedent that even though they're victims, it still has an adverse effect on their career. You look at the actresses that were involved in the NX IVM thing, and
the Nexium.
They were branded, and then that none of them ever worked again. Some of them became culpable in the cult-like atmosphere of it by recruiting after a while, but they were. Listen, man, I mean, one of the things, being in entertainment, that it's one of the scarier things about it, but this is like, I've met very, very few executive producers, anybody that was ever willing to, do a project, especially an independent project, that didn't get their money from, some sort of nefarious means, And I gotta be honest, I'm gonna be 100%, I'm gonna be the only human being in America honest. If I was asked 10 years ago by Jeffrey Epstein to come down to his island in the Bahamas and hang out with a bunch of supermodels and we'll talk about financing your movie, I'd have been on that flight log. 100% chance I'd have been on that flight log. Now,
Yeah. I was going to comment. Yes, I was. Yeah, look at you. 10 years ago, what the fuck was you, 30? That's what I be saying, man. Put your foot in your mouth, man. It's not right. I'm going to do a video up on that too, man. Because I watched this whole video. He just he's going to justify the reason why. The girls didn't look young, and, anybody would have done it. Anybody go to strip clubs or anybody went anywhere, that would have did it. Come on, man. It doesn't matter. Once you're in Hollywood, you hear rumors, you hear stories and stuff like that, man. It's just like being on a good job or being on a job site. You hear stories, you hear things. So you would have known. And then he said 10 years ago, he's 40, so 10 years ago, he would have been in his 30s. So basically, you telling me you're a pedophile. Yeah, you'll still mess with younger women in your 30s. Man.
Now, I'd like to think that when I saw what was going on there, I wouldn't go back a second or a third or a fourth time. But when you're in that industry, there are so few people willing to greenlight your projects, and you talk to people that you don't know how they came about their money.
Sure.
Right? And then you have some guy who's willing to, and listen, there's going to be people in the comments right now talking about I'm a pedo or I'm whatever, and I'm not. But I'm telling you right now, anybody that's ever been to a bachelor party, I believe you'd have gone to Epstein Island if you were invited. Anybody that's ever been to a strip club would have gone to Epstein Island if they were invited.